this whole thing.
Okay, so you're satisfied?
Definitely
Okay.
satisfied.
So do we need to
One of
do
the
anything
other
with
things,
this?
though, that was related to this drug testing was that on one of the first, if not the very first, officer-involved shooting that we reviewed, it turned out that our recommendation was that the officers involved in fatal shootings at least be drug tested. Because if you're in an accident, APD is indeed drug testing people, but I think it's probably time to continue pushing that or getting a better explanation as to why that's not happening.
If one is true, why not the other?
Why not the other?
Okay.
And I actually maybe should ask you if you have some ideas of how to move forward on this tonight.
I would start with APD and ask them what is their policy and why doesn't it include drug testing? I would start there, because they may have a reason. I don't know
Okay.
what it is.
Should we write them a letter, or what would you like, an informal
Yeah,
conversation?
write it to Major Tyler.
Have her come back up here?
Chair Fine, Board Member Brown, there is a response from the chief that the drug testing matter was referred to HR, so perhaps the follow-up is to follow up with the chief to find out what response he received from HR as to why.
That was like, what, 8 months ago?
Yes.
I'd rather hear from Major Tyler now.
Chair Fine and members of the board, I would have to research it exactly, but my understanding through the course of my career is to one of the reasons why many agencies or departments had not adopted that practice is because the reason you do a drug test when there's an accident is because clearly there was action that you didn't intend, whereas in most officer-involved shootings, it's an intentional action that you were taking in the course of your law enforcement duties. So just like any other crash where there could be a suspicion of influence of drugs or alcohol, that's the purpose of drug testing in relation to vehicle crashes, which doesn't also apply to an officer-involved shooting. So I know that's the historical premise of why that's not consistently done, but I would have to research to see if there was actually any other reasoning behind it.
I wonder if other police departments in other cities do that, and if so, why? And if not, why not? You know, if it's the same reason you have. I would start
Yeah, we
there.
could check there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you,
members
Major
of the board.
Tyler.
Yeah, I
Next,
think the
ma'am.
first case we looked at, drugs and alcohol did come up in some people's minds of whether something else was involved. So, okay, but
Well, and
we'll
it might
look.
be what would trigger that. You know, if it doesn't happen in all cases, if it happened in, if there was suspicion, how would it be triggered? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would ask that question too. Okay.
All right, after that, you have in your packet a